So I want to make a quick video surrounding the event Vice President Vance had last night at the Hamptons. And for those that don't know what I'm referring to, Vice President Vance held the fundraiser and raised over $5 million. Now, we're not really talking about the money itself because, yeah, $5 million, it does seem like a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of politics, $5 million is basically nothing, especially at the presidential level. But that's not really the point here. The point is, Vice President Vance himself held this fundraiser and raised all this money. The ramifications of this event, I think, are much more significant than most people realize. Vice President Vance hosted a Wednesday evening fundraiser in Southampton, New York, for Republican donors that raised more than $5 million, Axios has learned. The event drew several up-and-coming donors in their 20s and 30s, providing a glimpse of the finance network Vance is assembling ahead of a possible run for president in 2028. And this right here is why it's a big deal. We're not talking about the old-ass Republican donor that's probably like 95 years old, probably dead at this point. These are the up-and-coming new donors. That's a big deal because most of them, like Axios says here, they're in their 20s and 30s. That means these guys he's raking in money from, they're the next generation. When all these people die at the very top, guess what? These people are next. They're the future, not just for Vance, which alone, that's a big deal. It's clear he's already building a very significant network of donors for 2028. And to win a Republican primary, let alone the general, you need money. You need legitimacy when it comes to donations. You need big donors to give you something. And a lot of these younger donors already, they're giving money to Vance. That's why this is important. And plus, for the future, that's a huge deal. That these younger donors that are going to be around for a very long time, they're all giving Vance money. They're not giving money to Chris Christie or Nikki Haley. They're getting money from old-ass Republican donors. The younger ones, the ones that will be the future of the GOP, guess what? They're giving money to people like Vance. The fundraiser drew about 35 people and held the home of 1789 Capitol President Amin Malik. Attendees included Donald Trump Jr., Polymarket founder Shane Copland, and GRV Strategies founder Garrett Ventry. Cantor Fitzgerald, President Brandon Lutnick, the son of Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, was also there, along with the World Liberty Financial co-founder Zach Witkoff, son of senior Trump advisor Steve Witkoff. So yeah, as you can tell, it's a lot of people connected to Trump. Like, it's like the son of Howard Lutnick or of Steve Witkoff. But guess what? That also just further demonstrates that even the people in the White House, the people in Trump's admin, the people around Trump, they are overwhelmingly backing Vance here. Their kids are backing Vance. They're giving Vance a shitload of money. All these top people that are worth a lot of money, the future of the GOP, guess what? They're giving money to JD Vance. That's why this is a big deal. If it was just a single random person, fine. But like it says here, it was 35 people, and we're talking about people worth a lot of money. And in total, he raised $5 million. After a reception, there was a more intimate dinner with about 20 people. Reception goers gave $100,000 to the RNC. Those at the dinner gave $250,000. So yeah, again, it's a lot of money. It's not like 100,000 people showed up and they gave $10 a piece. No, there was like 20 people that really gave money, and it was about 100 to 250,000 per person to the RNC, which is a lot of money. It gives the Republican Party even more money than they already had before. Again, it's not 100 million like they have right now, but still, $5 million right now is probably more than the Democrat Party, at least the DNC, has. That is how bad fundraising is for Democrats, but also kind of how impressive it is Vance went to this event, was able to get over 5 million for the RNC. And people also kind of forget about this, and I'm glad Axios mentions this. Vance right now, he is currently the RNC's finance chair, which gives him a position of power at the RNC, the ability to meet these donors, make financial decisions, but also be able to directly meet with these top donors, including these younger ones, the ones in their 20s and 30s. They're worth a lot of money, and they're starting to really get involved with Republican politics. Do the math, guys. This helps Vance significantly, not just for 26, that this gives Republicans another boost of 5 million, but it gets him connections with these people. Granted, some of this was already the case, that a lot of them are in the Trump admin. I get that. But still, the fact they're already going to these events with Vance and they're working with him, they're talking with him, that gives Vance a significant advantage. There are a lot of people fearful that Vance would have no money, no big donor would get behind him. And already, we're seeing dozens of big donors go to a fundraiser for Vance and give him 5 million for the RNC, which gives him more money as a finance chair. The VP has hosted dozens of fundraising events across the country since taking the post last year. Vance's allies say the relationships he's developed in the position have helped him build the kind of fundraising apparatus he'll need if he runs for president. And they're right. If you want to actually win, not just Republican nomination, which I think Vance has that already, to actually win the presidential election, you need money. You need consistent fundraising. If you don't got that, you're screwed. Of course, money isn't everything in politics. You need more than just money to win. Just ask Michael Bloomberg. He spent God knows how much in 2020 and he still got killed. But at the same time, if you don't got any money, well, you're screwed. And that's why this is noteworthy, that he's building up these relationships now. And even his own people are admitting that, yeah, it's already giving him a fundraising apparatus a much bigger advantage than most Republicans have. If DeSantis or Haley, or if God forbid Marco Rubio runs, which I don't think Rubio's going to run. I think Rubio is still Vance's VP, more than likely. But even then, Vance is not going to have a fundraising problem. Even if you ignore the fact that he has connections at the RNC, he's in charge of the Republican Party's money as we speak. Guess what? He's going to have all these donors already backing him. They're already connected with him. That's why all of this is a big deal. It adds up over time. Now, Vance, like it says here, he has not officially made an announcement yet for president. That's true, but he's running. Unless something so absurd happens in the next couple of months, Vance is going to be Trump's successor. There is little no pathway for anybody but Vance. And if it isn't Vance, well, that's a different story. But I do think that Vance is gearing up a campaign. He's building up this fundraising apparatus, getting his team ready, because he knows after November 3rd of this year, it's basically on to 2028. Yeah, we're still a year or so away from that, but still, you got to build a campaign now. And that's exactly what Vance is doing. It gives him a huge advantage. And I'm glad he's doing these events, and I'm glad Trump is allowing him to do so. Him being the RNC finance chair, that is under talked about significantly. I don't think anyone realizes right now, he is in charge of the Republican Party's money. He can theoretically do whatever the hell he wants to do at the RNC. And I trust Vance way more than most people at the RNC. They've got it better, but do you trust anybody but Vance? Just honestly, do you trust the RNC chair to be in charge of the money? No. You want somebody like Vance to be in charge of the finance for a bunch of reasons. And that includes this fundraising thing he's doing with big donors. So we're going to see what happens in the next couple of months. We're going to really see Vance's campaign, I think, really pick up more and more support. More and more people are going to realize it's going to be Vance. Yeah, there's some Republicans trying to bank on the idea of Marco Rubio running, but it's going to be fucking Vance. He's already getting big donors. That is the only pathway Rubio had, was getting every single big donor on his side, get all the money behind him. He may have a chance. Even then, I don't think it's likely. But now, you already have Vance making these connections. Do you really think that Rubio's going to challenge him? No. It's going to probably be Vance Rubio come 28, and Vance knows it. He's doing these fundraisers, not just for the RNC, but to build connections. Nobody else has this. Nikki Haley doesn't have it. DeSantis had it. He blew it. Chris Christie doesn't have it. None of these people have any kind of fundraising apparatus compared to Vance. And we're not even at 27 yet. We're not even him campaigning officially. And you can already say, yeah, he has possibly the biggest financial network of any Republican candidate for 28, potentially for a primary ever. Because not even Trump in 24, in the primary at least, had this type of fundraising network, at least in the early stages. Because Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, they were getting a lot of big donors. A lot of big donors, they were giving them hundreds of millions. But now, looks like the opposite is happening. That Vance is the one that's already raking in all these fundraisers, raking in all these big donors that are going to back him. Do you think they're not going to? They're giving him money now for the RNC. Gee, I wonder what they're going to do come 2028. These big donors, they're going to support Vance immediately. They're giving the money now for the RNC, but it's a build connections. It's a build a network. I know I rambled a little bit longer than I wanted to, but it's significant. It is a big deal that Vice President Vance is actually doing this. He is actually campaigning, working behind the scenes. A lot of people are saying he was giving up and he wasn't going to try. Do you think he would be doing these events if he wasn't trying to run for president? What? Why would he raise all this money? Okay, he's the RNC finance chair. I get that. If he truly did not care about the 28 election or anything like that, why would he be wasting everybody's time by trying to fundraise a lot and actually build a network of donors? It's as if he's prepared to do something after November 3rd of 2026. But we're going to know more in the next couple of months. Obviously, we are a couple months away from Election Day. I would assume as we get closer to Election Day, we'll get more information. And especially after Election Day, we're going to know for sure Vance is running by. I highly doubt it's going to be anybody but JD Vance for 2026. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.